Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Light Reading. As always, I'm your host, Light. Our first manhwa for the day is Life of a Magic Academy Mage, an ongoing school life story that I've currently read up to chapter 92 on. Life of a Magic Academy Mage's main character is Lee Han Wardenas, a reincarnated individual who was a graduate student in his previous life, but died well, you could probably guess, a truck accidentally killing him. Lee Han reincarnated into a fantasy world full of magic, however, was forced to go back to school again in this new life. The story is a 5 out of 10. From my reading so far, there was nothing that made a direct enough impact that I remember it vividly. However, I will say that the atmosphere lends itself to be more of a school life or a slice of life story rather than anything else serious. So take my score with a grain of salt if you're a fan of these types of stories. The characters are a 7 out of 10. Other than the main character, all the characters act within their bounds, but most of them are in a school setting, so I understand why. The art is a 7 out of 10. The drawing of magic has some more subtle cues like the color of the background or the atmosphere compared to something more direct like a magic circle or some power-up of the main character. For that, I actually kind of appreciated quite a bit. If you're a fan of the school life stories, fantasy, and magic foundations with a twist of a somewhat studious yet clumsy main character, pick up Life of a Magic Academy Mage. For our next manhwa, it's part of the acting genre that I've been seeing recently and one of the first that I've tried for it. The manhwa is called To Be an Actor, which I've currently read up to chapter 80 on. Its main character, Jang Yong-guk, came from a poverty background but became a successful actor. However, after his mom passes away, he reflected on his life in which he wasn't a good son, and he earnestly wished to fix his mistakes. Somehow, he was given the opportunity to do so by regressing back into the past. With this new chance, Yongguk initially forsakes acting and focuses on treating his mom much better than what he did in his first life. Fate, though, had some other plans as he chose to go down the path of acting again, but for different reasons. The story gets an 8 out of 10. The initial regret and drive to fix the relationship he would have had with his mother in his second life from Yongguk's perspective is a great starting point. Afterwards, the progression to different acting gigs is actually quite refreshing. The characters are an 8 out of 10. Yongguk's performances in each of his works almost takes a different spin on his character and growth from his first life. The art is also an 8 out of 10. Because of the manhwa's setting, being an acting one, it has an opportunity to be able to display different styles of portraying from Yongguk's performances to other characters around him. I personally enjoy it for that. It has the freedom to do so. So if you're a fan of the modern regression stories but with an acting focus instead, this one's for you. In addition, if you want to give the acting genre a try, and at least in a modern setting, To Be an Actor is worth taking a look as well. One manhwa that may be of interest to some people is The Crown Prince Who Sells Medicine. It's an ongoing reincarnation into a novel manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 27 on. The reason this may be of interest is because The Crown Prince Who Sells Medicine is written by the same author who wrote The Greatest Estate Developer from my first video. Its main character is the traditional Korean medicine doctor who is reincarnated as the Crown Prince, Raquel Adria Magentano. The potential is 7 out of 10. The story is still setting its foundations, but given the author at least, I'm curious to see where this will end story-wise. The characters do show potential, and the most amusing honestly are the internal conflicts of the main character, which you'll see what I mean once you start reading it. The art is also a 7 out of 10. The art is being done by a different artist compared to The Greatest Estate Developer, but you can tell they are taking some inspiration from it just due to the drawing style and the way that the characters react themselves. For manhwas like these that I've read less than 30 chapters of, I would recommend them to people who enjoy seeing the potential of new titles rather than the established foundation of longer running ones. As for me, I'm personally interested in where the Crown Prince Who Sells Medicine will go, and I will keep you updated on its progress in future updates. Another one on our list that I've currently read less than 30 chapters on is Being a Maid is Better Than Being a Princess. It's an ongoing fantasy manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 14 on. The main character is Sienna, a princess of a ruined kingdom who is mistreated while being a princess. After her kingdom is conquered, all of her family is killed, and she begs for her life by saying that she will work as a maid instead. Surprisingly, the Bloody Crown Prince accepted her offer and took her in as an apprentice maid for the royal palace. The potential is 6 out of 10. Based on the atmosphere given in the first 14 chapters, Being a Maid is Better Than Being a Princess will show more of a romantic side to it once the foundation is established. However, right now, due to the limited amount of chapters, it only has a certain amount of characters and their depth hasn't been explored yet. The art is a 7 out of 10. It gives off a very light-hearted nature with its drawing of its background and its scenery and its use of lighter colors. I'll be keeping my eye on this one as it progresses, but if you're a fan of a fantasy romance, Being a Maid is Better Than Being a Princess should be kept on the radar for now, but I'll give more further updates as I keep reading it. The last manhwa for today's batch is I Became the Tutor of the Royal Twins, an ongoing reincarnation story that I've currently read up to chapter 14 on. The main character of I Became the Tutor of the Royal Twins is Sarah Popo, a reincarnated individual whose previous life was that of an elementary school teacher, albeit assumed to be a modern elementary school teacher. Using this background, she becomes a tutor for noble children in the somewhat historical world she reincarnated into. Soon enough, as the title suggests, she is scouted to become the tutor of the Royal Twins, personally by the Emperor of the Empire to boot. Its potential is an 8 out of 10. For what seems to be a romance manhwa, it has a slice of life sense and an interesting dynamic already with the main character and the twins. It'll most likely delve into the relationship of the Empire and Sarah next, but the foundations are kind of already getting set quite fast. As for its art, it's a 7 out of 10. What's presented so far is a bright and colorful atmosphere that makes it feel like a romance slice of life type of manhwa. Keep I Became the Tutor of the Royal Twins on your radar if you're a fan of the reincarnation romance genre, but like with our 2 last entries, I'll be keeping my eye on it as it progresses and I'll keep you updated with further videos on it. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Write in the comment section down below what manhwa and manga you've been reading and I might just take a look. Till next time though, have a good read.